Welcome to the Tale of Two Daughters. I made a little mistake and deleted the front of this video, so now I'm just going to tell the story as it happened right before we splice it together. So, our lady and our other knight, Aiden, went out into the woods to do some searching, went to the mine, and they traveled through the mine to see if they could find any information, and they came up with buckus, nothing. So on their way back to the town, Sir Aiden noticed that he didn't hear Lady Bridget's footsteps. So he turned around and looked, and she was walking into the woods. And Sir Aiden called her name, and she continued to walk. Sir Aiden came up behind her, and she still continued to walk through the woods. He then hurried up a little more and threw a rock at her, hitting her, and she still did not stop. She continued to walk into the woods, Sir Aiden trying to catch her. Sir Lady Bridget continued walking through the woods even though Sir Aiden was yelling at him or at her. He finally caught up to her and spun her around, and she had a blank look on her face. And Sir Aiden then tried to get her attention by shaking her, and nothing worked. And then he slapped her across the face, and she came out. She immediately got sick and started throwing up and could not remember what happened. Sir Aiden and Lady Bridget decided that something was not right in the woods, and they got back onto their horses, and they headed into town. And what you're going to go into now is them traveling out of the woods towards town and trying to make it back to the inn. I'm sorry about that little mistake, and I hope this goes well. Have a good day.
Slash art. Slash art. Yeah. You can also use the little table on the left hand side. There's an auto roller there.
Mine's 98.
Your average is 98,
I'd have 76 plus 44.
and then average them.
Yeah, 76 plus. Oh, wait, I thought I did that. Hold on.
You're 60.
60.
Yep, that's what I meant. And then roll a d100.
Please.
Can do.
Okay. So.
She's paying attention, I'm not. I'm too worried about
Uh,
Robbie.
yeah, you're a little freaked out, and you're probably going down the path a little faster than you should be given the conditions. And Sir Aiden, you ride into a low hanging branch, and so make another riding check to see if you stay on your horse. You're probably going at like a trot, not super fast. So make it just a straight up riding check to stay horsed.
Riding my horse, straight up riding track.
Yep, you got it. So your horse walks under a low hanging branch that you don't notice, and it doesn't do enough to hurt you, unless it swept you off the saddle, which it did not. You managed to duck underneath it and stay in your saddle. So it was a close call, but this is kind of halfway back to the village where that happens. So guys in the village, they arrive back at you guys about an hour after sunset.
Okay.
Do we meet at the end?
Everybody back. Yeah, they're at the end at this point.
Okay.
Well, and we were probably standing outside talking about whether to try to come get you or or what, figuring out if we have lanterns or something ourselves when you come riding in.
Yeah,
Oh.
I bet we both look pretty freaked out, right? Me
Yeah,
and Sir
Yes,
You look like you've had a rough night.
They arrive and look. Bridget looks still a little shaken. Sir Aiden is covered with schmutzy stuff from a tree, almost sweeping him off. He's kind of dirty.
And he looks a little paranoid because he's probably looking around at all places to make sure nothing.
Is there vomit on my Gandison?
probably yes. You probably don't smell
Okay.
the best.
Good. I mean, not good, but I'm glad we
We're
clarified.
peasants. We probably don't notice.
Well, let me buy you a couple
Yeah, we
brandies,
went.
guys. It looks like you've had a hard time.
Oh man,
Yeah, we just came back from a kegger in the woods.
the peasants are being abducted,
All right.
and it's
So
black as we're getting ready to sit down.
um. Okay.
Unless
So
you're gonna interrupt us during my converse.
so Dave, do you want to go through it orally or just say blah what we experienced, what you what I told them?
You can go through it.
Yeah, I think we should go through it.
Okay. Why don't you go
Okay.
through it more? Why don't you go through it more and play it out for us?
So, guys, we, although saw nothing, the mine seemed empty and abandoned. Uh, we were on the trail to, what probably is the hermit's place, although he's probably not there anymore, based on what we experienced. And we were traveling, leading our horses because it was starting to get dark. We didn't want to lame them. And suddenly, I could hear Bridget's horse, but I didn't hear Bridget behind me. Amongst us, I'm not going to use the term Dame. When we're in more formal places, I will, of course, always refer to you as Dame Bridget. So I turn around, and she's just wandering off into the woods. I scream and, hey, Bridget, what are you doing? Get back here. And start moving towards her, and she ignores me. So I chuck a stick at her. It hit her pretty good in the back. By the way, if you have a sore back, it's my fault. And she still ignores me. So I run after her and grab her arm and turn her around, and she has this blank stare, and she keeps trying to pull away from me for a couple seconds while I'm yelling at her, Bridget, snap out of it. Bridget, what's going on? And at that point, she doesn't respond. She keeps trying to pull away and, I imagine, continue walking into the woods. So I smacked her in the face, and she reacted, obviously, and then threw up. And then she's like, what happened? What's going, and I'm like, hey, what happened? We both said the same thing at the same time. And then she said she didn't notice anything. Well, do you want to give your side of the...
I wish there was something I could tell, but I have no idea what happened. It's like I have no memory.
Yeah, like she lost... I mean, the best words I can say is she lost control. She lost consciousness and control at the same time. And started wandering away.
And I feel awful.
Yeah. And by the way, your sore cheek is my fault as well.
You're forgiven.
Thanks. So, she was literally abducted without her putting up any struggle. I mean, if I weren't there, or if I hadn't noticed the lack of her armor making noises behind me, she would. If she'd have gotten to that forest, we might never have found her again.
Right. That's yeah.
That's scary.
That's scary stuff.
So, as a minimum, we should always have two people with eyes on if we do anything anymore in this village.
Do you know what direction she was heading? Can you guys describe that? If
We were headed westish, and I think she was headed southish from where we were, so into the forest in that area. Who knows where she would have ended up? I mean, the creature probably moves around. I'm going to assume it's a creature or something that can assume focus and control of you while dampening your conscious ability. And who knows where he would have ended up. But yes, it was south of the trail that we were on.
Hey, Zershin.
Right?
Zershin, could you determine if it was not a creature and something magical like that fellow we met leaving Trowbridge?
Does it sound like anything I would be aware of, Devin?
He was a Savorian, I believe, headed to some ruins to study them. But Savorian talent is what I'm alluding to.
Or Illyrian.
Ted, I made a roll.
Ted,
I made a roll for you, like
Okay.
for your lore on this, and nothing has come up that you can think of at this moment.
Okay. Very well.
You rolled an 86, so I did roll for your knowledge on the topic. Zierson, you're going to be making a it's arcane lore. Make me an arcane lore roll, Zierson, please. DC is going to be, is that 60?
Yeah, there we go.
You know, that kind of spell could be a Savorian thing. There are psionic talents that can also have the same effect. There's sort of mind controlling spells and psionic talents. You fortunately have a certain degree of immunity to those, which nobody else knows about, but you do, based on your own particular talents.
I give her a look over just to see from my knowledge of like alchemy and my magic and everything like that, if it leans toward that type of a thing. Like, is there any symptoms that they may have been dosed with something that they were unaware of versus a mystical element?
You can make a physician roll.
Yeah,
Not a physician.
Or physician. Well, you've got some physician.
No, I don't.
You have none.
I could make a herblore or physician roll for that kind of
Or you have alchemy as well at 51, Zierson, so you can make a guess at that too. That was your physician half, and you can make an alchemy or herblore as well.
I've got herblore too.
Okay. I mean, there are some plants that can make people go into a trance-like state. They don't describe that they were eating any local foliage, but
Yeah. If it was a dart or something that could inject her, do you have any wounds, Bridget, that you or sore spots that?
Well, that's what I want to do. I want to give her a look over to see.
okay. I'll let Halfin's physician roll kind of fill in for that. Like, you guys look her over together, looking for, where a poison dart may have gotten her, or a strange thorny plant, or you don't see any, other than a slightly red spot in her cheek. You don't really see anything that looks like a recent wound, other than for the joust 2 days ago.
It sounds like some form of enchantment.
Yeah, I didn't hear what Sir Aiden just said. What was that? Or was that Ted?
I would think the thorns or a blow dart would, unless they had a good shot and got, an exposed surface, would not get through the armor easily.
Right. It would take a lot. I think it is some kind of spell or enchantment. It's not a poison or a drug that's been introduced somehow.
Doesn't have some type of a tension disorder that she's had in the past.
Finish your little brandy. It'll help you shake it off.
Barkeep, brandy, will cure most ills.
Yeah. Couple of cups here, barkeep.
All right. He pours out more of the fine blueberry liqueur brandy that he has.
That does sound good.
So did you find the hermit? Oh, you were on the way there to him. Well, if you see him, let him know that our stock's already low. So if he wants to run some by, I'd greatly appreciate it.
When's the last time you've seen him?
It was about it was last month, early last month.
Has he always lived around here?
Oh yes. The legends say, or he's an older fellow. But good woodsman, lived out there alone for as long as I've been around here. They say he's a half blood, part tailed, part local. Goes back
Hmm.
many years, probably in his 60s if I was to guess.
I'd be
And
worried
he has
about
no friends.
Well, if he wanted friends, I suppose he could have some. A nice enough bloke, but what keeps to himself?
Hmm.
That's just the way he likes it.
we should go out there together tomorrow morning and see if we can find something. I suspect that he probably has been enchanted away as well.
Or he's the one doing the enchanting.
Did you guys? Did you guys? Did you guys take the tunic from the the torn up tunic?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
I think we got to look at it, but I don't think any of us declared that we're taking it.
All right, I got you. All right. Yeah, there was the shoes there and the tunic there that you guys had picked up and handled. I'm not sure if you had taken those with you or whether you discussed with Bridget your findings or that kind of thing.
Yeah, we should tell them that we talked to the family of the most recent person to disappear, and that they seem to have left, got up in the night, left without their shoes or jacket or anything, and walked down towards a thicket of trees, a stand of trees near the creek, where they, found the bloody tunic, sleep shirt the next morning. And there were some tracks kind of leaving the area that I found, but they're pretty nondescript, and I lose them at the road, so or maybe the river. I'm not really sure. It's not really a good clue, but it seems to be an individual person, or it could be it wasn't the kid in bare feet. It was other kind of funny shaped tracks, right, Devin?
You didn't get much more from them other than their existence. They seemed a bit larger than a. It could have been a big man could have made the tracks.
Okay.
So how far away
Was the rest of the family big, or?
Not particularly, no.
Okay.
Sorry, Aiden, you were saying?
How far away were the tracks from the house that you saw?
I don't know, 30 yards?
Can we assume
Maybe a little more.
Can we guess that's probably his range or its range? And if we're gonna go paranoid, which then we need to have two people up at night watching everybody, because if they could just move us out of our sleep and make us walk away.
Well, how would it know to target us at this point? I mean, you guys were at the mines and looking around, and I would expect, unless you said something or.
The question is it just a creature feeding or a person with intelligence? If it's a person and there are new people in town wandering around and asking questions, then, how does it know? Well, we've given our hand away. If it's just some thing that's mindlessly using some ability or skill or enchantment to pull stuff away to feed, then who knows what's happening.
Well, the disappearances have happened on a regular, right, 5 to 6, almost a week apart. So it's not like, it's doing it when it's least risky. It's almost driven. My guess is driven by hunger. That's really what's going on.
I would agree with you.
Right.
And we were probably an easily separated meal, two of us alone, so it took a chance.
Right.
We shouldn't split up again.
That's what I'm saying. Even for sleep, we should sleep in shifts with two people awake, watching each other, and watching the rest of us.
Okay.
I'm inclined to believe that we are now target. I could
because
be
we got
wrong.
away.
Better to be wrong and alive than right and dead.
Would our priest be able to see if there's anything on us, like energy wise? Devin?
Um, do you voice that, or are you just
I'm
asking
kind of
that?
asking,
Okay.
just
Well,
you. I'm asking you.
you don't know. You could ask them. You're
Okay.
not. Yeah. I'm not gonna provide you with that. You'd have to maybe just ask.
Okay. Yeah, so she just asked Emrys if there's a way he could see if we're like targeted spell wise.
Zerson's obviously there for that conversation as well.
Okay.
Targeted spell wise. You mean are the
Spoken enchantment. Can you detect enchantments?
Zerson,
Where's the?
you're also there for that question as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sensitivity might help or work. Yeah, maybe.
I am
I
not
don't have
a
anything to do it.
I don't cast spells. I call blessings from
He says somewhat indignantly.
Well, then
you can hear that.
can that be an enchantment type blessing? I don't care how you get it. Can you tell if she's been influenced by a blessing or whatever? The gods
I would first have to baptize her into Ilhir's church.
Oh my god.
That's kind of a stretch, isn't it?
You know, Ted, did you handle the tunic? I forgot something about your character. Did you handle the tunic when you guys were at the?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna dredge something up. I'm gonna retcon. I hate having to do that.
Something just clicks in your mind, maybe. We'll have to check.
Okay. Nah, it didn't make the change. It's okay. I'll give you a development roll on it though anyway. So, okay. Sometimes, Ted, when you pick objects up, you get visions. It happens to you occasionally, not very often, but sometimes when you pick objects up, you get visions of what happened to the person sometime before.
What about people?
Was that?
What about people? What if he just gets up and picks me up right now?
It's not how it
I'd
works.
want him to. He probably try to baptize you. Wasn't he just talking about that?
So do remember that you have that ability, Ted. So sometimes when you pick things up or handle things, you occasionally get like a flash, a vision of what transpired when that person was in contact with it.
Oh.
It didn't happen this time, so
Oh,
I
all
made
right.
the check for you. But it
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, I don't have the neutral spell feel that would be needed to run that.
Okay.
So there's no way to detect with anyone's skills what that she may have been affected by something.
Doesn't seem like it.
Well, paranoia is the best thing, man. And I guess we should go out and check out the hermit's place in the morning. Maybe he has some insight, or maybe his place will have some clue.
Yeah, let's rest on it. But I just think we should be super cautious because I feel like if the hermit was going to be helpful, he would have been helpful already.
I'm suspicious the hermit's been dinner at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that he's particularly a fan of Sir Cathal and the village right now because somebody said he's half Tielda, right? And if they have that mercenary crew come through and butcher half his family, he might not want to help the village anymore, even if he did
That's
know what was
true.
going on. So but it's worth talking to him. Maybe he'll tell us something if we go and ask politely. But in the morning for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's rest.
You guys sleep in shifts?
Yes.
Well, before everybody goes to bed, Zerson and I need to finish some business around town. I guess
guys are
Zerson
going
should
out?
come with me. Yeah, I need to talk to an ox, find a tree, maybe some other little friends.
Do you really think that wise right now?
If Zerson can keep an eye on me and it's not too late yet, you can all come with if. We did have a few hours while you guys were still at the mine or on the way back.
We can say that
could have
happened.
accomplished this.
Sure.
Okay.
What are you trying to accomplish? Yeah, they were gone for like 2 hours. So.
Right. So, I want to find the biggest ox or whatever in the village and get its true name. And same thing with a big tree, oak or whatever. Just mark the species and try to have its true name on hand as well.
Okay. Is that a ritual that you cast?
It is.
Okay. So yeah, there's we can go to we'll go to the village map. You can pick one out.
Just out of character, what is happening? Like
Well,
you
I'll describe it. He has wandered around town and is looking for a big. You want a big oak tree or just like an oak tree?
Just the biggest tree. An oak would make sense, but whatever's the biggest.
There's a big oak right there, kind of just a little bit east of the manor. As you step out of the inn and look across the lane and go, there's a good sized Harnick oak over there.
That's a big boy. Right. So I pick one out and just go up to it and I kind of just I don't know, investigate it, touchy-feely, I suppose, and I probably say a few quiet words. It takes all of
10 seconds probably.
It's gonna be 20, 30 seconds.
All right. So
for me to
Bridget,
do
this happens after you guys leave this peasant cottage and start making your way towards the inn, and he kind of says, "Yeah, just give me 1 second. Just you guys wait right here." And he trots off, cuts across the grass, and goes up to this big oak and puts his hand against it, and seems to be sort of meditating as he does that. I think Zerson was maybe tagging along a little bit, but maintains some distance away. And of course, you haven't heard at this point all the stuff that happened to Bridget. So you're not here for this, Bridget. So you're not seeing this portion. This happened before you guys returned.
Yeah, but I would at a minimum be with him to learn as to what he's doing, because that's why I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learned your name, and so you get a name for the oak. I mean, you can obviously cast it over and over again if you had to, but so you try to find an oxen after that.
Yeah, really just the biggest, strongest, muscliest creature I can find.
That would probably be either Sir Aiden or an oxen, one or the other.
Okay. I figured. Doesn't really work on Sir Aiden. I don't know. There's a big pen down here.
So
by the river.
The local miller is ox powered. So he does not have it's not a wheel powered. It is an ox powered mill that they have in the town.
Yeah.
The mill is located over here.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very far. I don't know why they don't have a paddock there for the damn ox, but that is where the miller is, and it is an. So right in the middle here, there's a wheel, and there's a large pole that comes off of it, and it's the grain is fed into that. It's a big open air affair.
Okay.
And there are some ox. They graze here. They're grazing everywhere. They graze here and there in the commons, and then they're used for the purpose of driving the mill wheel during the day.
Maybe plows in the spring.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I didn't get that one. If there's multiple ox, I guess I'll try again. I'll take it as fate and Siam's will if I don't get it the first time. And are they in good shape? I could do some healing for them, cure on them if they're not in good shape. But
you start to kind of they're staked to the ground right now. There's a big sturdy stake in the ground, and they don't wander off. Probably for the night. This is a pretty big building. They're probably going to be stabled inside once the sun fully sets. So it doesn't take very long though before the miller comes walking outside and wondering what you're doing. Hey there. Who are you? What are you doing to my animals?
Oh, good evening. We're just folk in from Yeged, and we're trying to help Sir Kethel out with his with all of yours problem, really.
He has 2 oxen, by the way. So there are 2 there.
And I'm just looking around, really.
All right.
Clues. Hints.
So what? I don't know why my oxen are important to that. They didn't do anything. They were here.
Oh, I'm just checking everything, really.
All right.
You'd be surprised, sir. I once solved a case when folks had dueled over oxen, but wouldn't tell me why. And perhaps these were particularly prized, well-fed, healthy, strong beasts that were the prize of the village. You know, things happen.
This sounds like. Fortunately, you're pretty good at rhetoric. So go ahead and make a roll for me to avoid him driving you off because you're annoying his animals.
I tell him a great story about this one time. 2 Viking warriors had to duel over the best oxen in the village, and
he is enraptured and taken in by your story. All right, well, just don't. He's gonna watch you. So all right, you just do what you need to do, but I'll stay right here.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm stuck.
They're in
good shape though, and
yeah.
Yeah, I'll kind of just turn away from him and do it, meditate, but face away, just like I'm standing to take a pause.
All right.
And as I'm about to leave and give it another try.
On the other one?
Stealth roll,
okay.
Too, if you want.
There
we go.
Okay, so yes, you acquire the true names known only to the animal and gods. And now you. Okay. For a large oak tree and the slightly less sturdy the 2 oxen.
All right. Thanks. That's quick. That's all. Well, unless I found anything doing the patrol around town, like a group of Telden warriors, marching in, tracks from something like that.
Nothing like that. No.
Okay, but we did check Dame Bridget.
You did check.
And Sir,
you circled around the town. You checked things out. Sir Cathal and his men saw you doing what seemed to be important and useful stuff, but you didn't find anything. And you accomplish that and get back, and that's when Dame Bridget and Sir Aidan return, and we are now all caught up. And is now.
Has Sir Cathal been overlooking his people, and have they been working?
Really, it's only been like 3 hours since you guys met with him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so that's all going to be tomorrow. He's going to be supervising them as they wash and shear the sheep.
You better.
That's right. That's why you're here, really. All this other stuff is secondary. I know peasants are dying and all, but listen, the Baron of Yeged wants his damn wool. Wool fair is in 3 days. Come on.
Actually, I think it's the Baroness, but
whichever.
Yeah.
Okay. You are now caught up.
So it's nighttime.
It is nighttime.
Time to sleep.
You're drinking blueberry brandy and preparing to bed down. Are you going to sleep in shifts? Are there 2 people up for each shift? That way
5 of us, aren't there?
The waking person doesn't wander off into the night.
I will suck it up and take 2.
All right, so what is your guys' plan for the night?
I will stand whatever shift is necessary, although I think it's better to have the knights who are much better at what is it called when they stay up all night?
The vigil.
Vigils.
I mean, 3 shifts.
The vigil, yes.
6 of 3 hours each, 2 people up. And if I have to take a second one, I will.
Get ready to get sucked out of that fatigue point. Okay. Is anybody going to be awake for more than 1 shift? You guys can devise it so
One of
that
us would have to.
Dave, wasn't it?
Dave is gonna be up for 2 shifts. All right. So Dave, you're gonna wake up. You're gonna be kind of groggy the next day and be a little bit fatigued. So you of course in your stoic fashion did not sleep very much and kept careful watch and probably slept very little, not trusting the people who are actually keeping watch. So the next morning you feel a little fatigued and a little groggy.
Fine.
And it is now the next day. What do you guys wish to do this morning? Sir Bridget goes out there to make sure that the peasants are up and Sir Cathal's out, watching them, making sure they are starting to wash sheep. I get that.
Yep.
That's why I'm really here. All right. That does appear to be getting into motion, Bridget.
Does Sir Cathal smile at me?
If you want to call it that, sure.
Okay.
All right, so that is in motion. He has the Reeve and the Beetle, and he's out there with a few people in armor to try to give the peasants some sense of safety, and is trying to get them to work and start to wash the sheep in the creek so that they could be sheared later. Isn't peasant life fun? But that's how it is. All right, what are you guys going to do while that is going on in town?
Are we gonna go for the hermit?
That's
Sure.
a good idea.
Yeah, I think
This all
probably
seems
the
to be under
hermit-
control.
So let's go find the hermit's home.
Okay.
Let's just be careful. Last time we were in the woods together, I lost consciousness.
Yeah. Always keep eyes on each other.
Somebody has to be last.
Yeah, I'll be last.
All right. You moving a little bit more slowly than Sir Aidan and Dame Bridget move, because not all of you are on horse. In fact, only those two are on horseback. You make your way out of town. You reach the mine first. So if anybody else wishes to do anything at the mining compound or the mine proper, you can do that. It's about 2 or 3 miles up the trail, about a league, and you reach the mining compound. And across the creek is where the footpath leading towards Martin the Hermit's place is. It's going slightly to the southwest.
I do want to keep track of how far we've gone and any other big oak trees around. If we get close to the mining camp and can see some. But
of course, you don't generally like miners because they are somewhat destructive.
Yeah, no, and I am debating whether we should pull out some supports or something and try to collapse it, but no, not right now, not here. Right. I'm just looking for my tree points, anchor points.
Okay,
big oak trees.
So there was some. This area has been timbered some because the mining guild tends to do that. They tend to take timber. I mean, you could find an appropriate tree within a quarter mile of the mine if you chose to. Sure.
I take a look around and see if somebody being familiar with mining, if there's anything that is unusual that a layperson may not notice.
Okay. You can make a mining check. I'm not required that you make a check. I mean, that's fine. You can. Okay, that's successful half, and you cast your ritual on a sizable oak tree. It was you go into the mine a little bit. Is that what you do, or from the outside?
The mine a little bit, light a candle if necessary for lighting, and just take a cursory look around for, at least from the perspective of mining or any lore that I may have that may become applicable.
It's a copper mine. You can tell by looking at the ore. Some of the fresh ore has some green to it. There's not much. Yeah, it wasn't a very large operation. The mine isn't big. There's probably maybe 6 people that were working it, looking around at the barracks and everything.
Well, we're told not to go alone.
Okay.
But I go in a little bit into the mine just to, I don't know how deep it goes, but maybe like 50, 100 feet, just to get a good look around inside there.
You poke around. It's not very interesting.
Okay.
It's done with. It was done professionally.
Again, mostly just looking for something unusual that not necessarily miner wouldn't know about it, or on the inverse of that, the knights may not have known about mining. They're like, oh, what the heck is this?
Did you guys take? But speaking of the knights, did they leave their horses with the ostler at the inn, or did you guys ride them and have everybody else go on foot?
We would have walked with them.
Okay, so they were at the ostlers at the inn,
Yes.
or did okay?
Oof. Okay, let me
Just checking.
So we don't have a pack animal.
You could have brought a mule with you to carry whatever needed to be carried.
Okay,
that's fine. But they left the war horses though at the inn.
Okay, we have our mule. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay. No sabotage today. I can help find the trail off the hermit.
Okay. But David, it's a professionally done mine. It's not it's not an imminent collapse. It was done by industry standards.
Okay.
Clearly a copper mine. You could tell by the ore. That's what they had going on here. They were not doing any of the smelting here. They were transporting it elsewhere to be smelted.
Very good. Ooh.
One still is a margin of success. You find the trail they were speaking of, Hafen, and there's a great deal of horse tracks at this point on it. But you start going that direction. You're going kind of, so I have you on the village map, don't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So the creek kind of keeps the same bearing, kind of going to the northeast, but the trail on the other side of the mining camp kind of goes to the west southwest. It kind of goes. I'm sorry, probably this is what I did. It kind of does that direction.
Oh, okay.
So if you imagine the mine is kind of right here, and we came in, and then the trail is going west southwest from there. You followed along for maybe 45 minutes, an hour or so. Put you about a league away, 3 miles away, a Harnick League. And in the midst of the woods, there is a small clearing. And in the clearing, there is a small hut, hovel, structure. There is smoke coming from it. There's some smoke coming from a hole in the roof. I wouldn't even call it a chimney. The hut is more or less round, kind of maybe a little bit slightly pentagon shaped. Actually, probably more like octagon shaped. I will move you to where it is. I got to grab all of you guys for the end for a second. Hold on.
Should I call out as a Teldon? Has anything occurred to Emerus in the last day and a half?
Anything occurred to Emerus?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, because he failed his lore roll. I already asked.
Call out a greeting, so we don't startle anyone or cause a problem of being strangers on his land.
All right.
Right. I'll call out in Old Jarnies and Teldon. I guess how Teldon talk, the whatever traditional. I forget if it's Jarnies or Old Jarnies.
Teldon is a version of old Jarnies. So you come across this hut. There is a little bit of a fire burning from inside. There's a maintained, you know, flame of some sort. The thing is not on fire. It looks like it was recently lit. And so you smell smoke before you even reach the place. And you call out.
Hello there.
And
Old Martin.
You hear somebody rummaging around inside for a few moments, and finally sort of kind of coming into view and kind of looking. Did I put a door on that? I don't think I did. You see a kind of an old grizzled figure. Very, very wrinkled and weather worn. That kind of look that you just, somewhere between 30 and 80. Just hard to tell. Just covered, lots of exposure and time in the wild. His face is like really old, creased leather.
We could be brothers.
You could be. Maybe you are. We don't have DNA tests yet. What do you want? What brings you here? You leave an old man alone. You speaking Teldin, or are we speaking Harnick, or what language are you speaking?
Yeah, I tried to use a Teldin and a typical Teldin greeting.
Okay.
Under the going under some assumption or suspicion I had from people.
Actually, he returns the greeting in Telda, so he does speak Teldin back at you fairly fluently. Probably first language kind of fluency.
Oh, good.
He uses words for like old man, which also in Teldin means wise one, and other idioms that are part of the Teldin tongue. But he says, he looks at you strangely, like, where are you from? You're not a tribe. You're not part of the tribe. Who are you?
Well, I've lived amongst the North tribes for a time, but now I'm working for the Baron here, and I'll motion to the knights, and just say, and we're looking into trouble in the town and problems they've had with people gone missing. So we're hoping to put a stop to the disappearances.
You bring men and there's a lady,
yes,
dressed in steel. Aiden, as you walk around, you see that there's blueberry bushes all around the hut. They're not
Mr. Martin. This is Dame Bridget and Sir Aiden, and this is Zerson and Emrys.
Not in respect.
And
I don't really know how to.
He kind of waves. Well, come inside. I could maybe use a visitor for. Just don't try to talk to. Just don't stay too long. I don't often get visitors, and if I don't know how to act, it's just I'm mostly alone here. So he motions you to come inside.
You say mostly?
He did say mostly.
We won't judge you harshly, friend. Do you guys want me in there, or you just want to do the talking? I guess I should go in.
And his little hut is actually fairly well maintained and fairly neat inside. It's somewhat cozy and spacious. He sits down by the fire. And just kind of starts listening to what you have to say. And as he does so, you notice that there's a great big bowl of blueberries that's on the floor next to him.
Has he noticed any strange occurrences? You guys are speaking a different language, so I will funnel my conversation through you.
I should, because it is the polite thing to do. Should I? Would you care for some blueberry wine? I make it here myself.
Oh, and tell him the Egg Keep said that they're running short or something like that?
I will be sure to bring some there. Would you like some? I hope you brought cups. Uh, I only have a few since.
I definitely rummage around and get a cup out.
Okay,
Yeah.
from your own.
Yes.
Okay. He takes he gets up and takes a small bottle and starts to. Anybody who's offering a cup out, he pours a little bit in there, and then he goes
Get
back
a
to his seat.
quarter inch. Be polite. Not a lot.
Okay. So he starts. So he sits down, and there's a big bowl of blueberries next to him, and there's also a big clay jug on the ground. And he sits there and starts listening to what you have to say.
Right, and he speaks Harnick as well. We wanted to introduce ourselves with a
Yeah, he
Teldon
does speak Harnick,
atmosphere, but
only slightly accented. His Harnick is almost as good as Teldon. Teldon seems to be his first language, but he speaks very passable Harnick. And you switch to it, and he comfortably goes to it.
Have you know this area? I imagine well, living here, right?
Yeah, I've been here. My mother was a Telda. Um, they were her tribe. What she's gone, of course, many years ago. But her tribe was here just into last year. They they had they had a village not far from here, and then the village, the peasants, the people, the town folk, they they tried to take some of the land, and there's a fight. Yes, I was here for all that. I mean, I saw it. I didn't get involved. I didn't get involved because I felt I do well with the village, the people of the village. They've always been kind to me. It's their knight, their lord, as they call him. That is that is the difficult one. The people of the village are generally kind. And he goes back to kind of listening. He picks up a big handful of blueberries and starts to chew them.
Have you noticed any strange occurrences or unusual people or creatures in your area?
He chews the blueberries and then he kind of like picks up that big jug that's on the ground and then spits like a lot of the blueberry and
Oh,
juice and stuff into the
that's
jug
how he makes the wine.
and sets it back on the ground. Well, there's there's a legend amongst the people of the village of a an entity what's the word? What is the word? Of a being that they call the Old One, and they said that the Old One lives in a place called the Demon Rock, and they would pay tribute to this Old One periodically to appease it. If you were to ask me, since they were driven off by the men in steel, whenever they were making happy with their offerings, is now unhappy because it is not getting what it is used to getting.
What was it getting?
Oh, deer, rabbits, nothing more than that. Meat. Looks at you square in the eye. Meat. Whatever it is, they would offer it meat.
So
Have
now
you
it's
ever paid
seeking
tribute?
food from amongst the villagers.
What was that, Sraden?
So now it may be seeking food from amongst the villagers.
Well, either it is not is angered that it gets no tribute, or it is angered that Sir Cathal and his people in steel have driven off the Telda, That is for others to guess at. And
You
that
heard rumors of this creature being able to influence people or make them unconscious or control?
he says, I have felt tug of it, but there are some who can resist such things. So I consider myself fortunate. He looks at Zirson. You know what I speak of, Zirson. You gave your name earlier. I'm not sure if you did.
I don't know that I was introduced, but it doesn't matter either way.
Okay. He looks at you and says, you know of what
I give a gentle nod.
So I think that the old one is seeking revenge for what they have done to him. First the miners, and now the people of the village.
Or just meat.
Or just meat. More wine?
Harrison can have mine.
And holds out his empty cup and takes the cup from Emrys.
Zers's had worse.
Bridget
Zerson's
is just looking at Zerson right now.
Zerson's like, never ask what goes into the sausage.
Zerson's very familiar with brewing. He knows it's safe.
So it's very unlikely we're to talk anyone into continuing or re-beginning the offerings to hunting for this creature.
What was that, sir? I'm sorry.
I was just saying it's very unlikely that we're going to talk anyone into re-establishing the feeding or offerings for this creature to quell its hunger for humans at this point.
Well, perhaps.
Martin only shrugs at all that, so he.
Any ideas?
It would be, well, it's an awful burden for a village to give up goats or meats or something on a regular basis to something like this, so that's problematic. If the Lord is, I don't know, if the Lord can afford it, maybe.
I can tell you right now, the Lord will just say, kill it. That's what they do.
Yeah. I'm sure. And even so, if the other solution would be to hunt for the Lord to hunt something, give it deer and such, instead of taking them back to his own table. And I feel like he might do that once or twice, but then he'd get tired of it. And
is it possible to communicate with this creature? Do you, looking at the hermit,
says, I've only heard the stories of the old one. It's not as if I've seen it. I've felt something out there.
So no
something
idea. Fair enough.
Trying to touch me. He kind of holds his head. But I have resisted it. But I have not seen it.
So our options are, if we report back to the Lord, he'll probably commission us to kill it. Or we try to locate it ourselves beforehand and maybe convince it to move on.
Is that the Demon Rock? You can see it from here.
I would have concerns with that. It's shown that it will
He
kill.
stands up and just starts to walk outside. There. Points. There. Not really really sure what he's pointing to, but in the distance, on the horizon, rising slightly, because this is kind of in a bit of a clearing, and also at a bit of a rise. Otherwise, you probably could not. If you were deep in the forest, you probably could not see it. So midway between, do you see? There's a hill with bare rock. Far away. Do you see the gray of the stone? Rising a little above the forest. That's it. Once you're going there, it's gonna be hard to find, but you'll find the old village, the old Telda village, and then there's a trail. You just keep that direction, you'll find it. You will. He's pointing basically to the southwest. Like you guys came from this direction here, and it is continuing kind of towards the southwest, is where he's pointing. That's the Demon Rock. That is where the Teldas say, the old one. I wasn't even sure if there was an old one. But maybe they were just throwing things into a hole in the ground. But I felt it since then. I feel it sometimes. I make it go away. I'm fortunate, or I would have been lost. Here alone as I am, I would have been lost. He turns around and walks back inside. Picks up some blueberries and starts chewing them.
Unless we could direct this creature somewhere where there's a lot of natural prey, I fear it would feed upon people again. It's already proven that it would 3 or 4 times now. If we direct it somewhere else in general, it's only a matter of time before it starts killing people again.
Then we go to the Lord and get paid to kill it.
I agree.
I think. Are we talking Sir Cathal or are we talking the Baron?
Whoever will pay us more.
What kind of creature would this be?
Aren't you the master of creatures?
Sir Cathal, and when he resists because he won't want to fork out the money, we go to the Baron and say, "Look, this is the status of the fact of the matter, and what do you want us to do? Let him make the decision. You got to make them look like they're making the decision."
Sir Aiden.
Sir Cathal or
Aiden.
Zirson? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sir Cathal or Baron of Yged?
Well, start with Sir Cathal, but I'm going to predict he will resist wanting to do anything, and he'll kick it up the chain of command. And then the Baron will have to make the decision, and we'll let him, he can decide to leave it or set us after it. And then whatever rewards he offers, we can split.
Rewards? You guys work for him.
No.
Go kill it.
Sir
A
Aiden.
little above beyond the Call of Duty, but yes. Oh, and some of us here are not actually his employees.
That's true.
And we can't leave these people.
Yes, I might not get paid. Dame Bridget might not get paid, but
Well, let's shortcut all that and just go to the southwest, to this Demon Rock, and see what we can see.
Check it out first, right?
Right.
you could
Okay.
do
It's
that.
still
but you could
daylight.
make the ability to make an income out of it if we end up. I'll tell you right now, if we end up fighting it and win, then it's a de facto done deal, and no one will. I mean, we'll be lucky to be rewarded anything. We have to live.
All right. I think we've been playing 2 hours, so we will next time. You guys will, just so I understand the plan. You're going to at least check out, since you've come this far, continue the journey. Looks to be about 2 leagues away, about 6 miles, maybe a bit less than that. And you're at least going to check it out. Is that my understanding, Hafen?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. We're here. Why go miles
you guys,
away?
You guys probably left early, so it's probably like 10 o'clock in the morning is what we're talking about.
I mean, if it's only 2 leagues away, 6 miles, we can do a quick scout.
Okay, it'll take you about, assuming that you can find a good path through the woods, and Hafen seems to be pretty good at finding his way through the woods. You'd probably get there in about 2 hours of walking, so you can get there by about noon, which isn't terrible from where you are right now. That'd be your guess, Hafen, if you're to look
Okay.
when he points it
Yeah.
out.
Plenty of
Okay.
time to check it out, look into things. If it comes to see us, maybe we do deal with it and just make a quick job of this. But if we can't figure anything out, we can go back before nightfall without much trouble.
Okay.
If it
All
comes
right.
to see us, we have to deal with it. It is harming people. It is harming villagers. Innocents.
Right,
who
and
don't
the
know
time
different, so
the time it might take to go back to Yeged, deal with Kethel and the Baron and everybody.
might feed again.
I don't. It might take somebody else, right? So
It needs to die.
All right,
I
then maybe we'll do more than scout.
Okay. Go
Kill
ahead
it.
and conclude our adventure at this point. And we'll go ahead and make our skill advancement rolls.
From last
Without,
session,
From the last, did we do it from the last session? I forgot. So
we
do it from
didn't.
from these 2 sessions. Let's go ahead and make our skill advancement rolls. So if you use a skill and just if I'll show you an example, Bridget, I'll show you on your character sheet. If you use a skill in play, just put an asterisk next to it, right? So you use riding, for example. So since you use riding, put an asterisk next to it like that. See how I just did that on your sheet? That way you're reminded later to make the skill advancement roll and then take the asterisk away.